Oh God, what have I done? Oh God, all right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show, and seriously, the longest production video I've ever done in the history of the channel. I purchased this 1998 Yamaha Vmax for $700, and it has taken me 3 months and thousands of dollars to just get this damn thing to start running. Just to get it running, not rolling, just running. Oh God, here we go. Okay, all right. Let's give some context to that intro, shall we? This motorcycle is part of a new series that I'm starting on the channel called Polishing a Turd. This happened almost overnight. Back in December, I was hanging out with the Discord boys and I was like, I want another project bike. I want something kind of fun to work on that we can fix up and flip and take the proceeds of that and fund another bike. And then maybe we can start flipping motorcycles all the way up until we start buying some really cool bikes for the channel. So some of the Discord guys were like, well, I'd pump in some cash for that. And overnight we got to $1,600 that the Discord people donated, which I am so thankful to all the Discord boys. Your names are rolling here on screen. Some of them are now ex-Discord boys because this has taken so long that they have since decided to leave, which hopefully you're enjoying this video because this is the fruit of your labor. I purchased this motorcycle in December of 2023 with the expectation that it only needed a little bit of work to get going. The guy specifically said, hey look, the carburetor, it's been sitting for a while, the carburetors will need to be cleaned and the clutch doesn't work, nor does the rear brake. Little did I know that everything that could go wrong with this motorcycle has gone wrong. I should have checked the born on date when I looked at this thing because these tires, they have less than 1,000 miles on them. They still have spews on them and they're from 2013. This motorcycle has done less than 1,000 miles in the last 10 years. So I purchased a 30-year-old almost motorcycle that had been sitting for 10 years with 72,000 miles on the clock for $700. What you're about to see is the story of getting this motorcycle to start. Just to start and just to idle. That's all that's gonna happen in this video. It took me 3 months. Let's dive on in, baby. Alrighty, first order of business is getting the fuel pump out of here, which is right under all of this. Get the fuel pump out, put the battery in, go get some new fuses at my local auto parts store, and then see if it'll crank. Ooh, needs a new coolant cap. That's not good. Wiggle pull, wiggle pull, wiggle pull, wiggle pull, wiggle pull. Yeah, got it. So here's one of the issues that we're running into right out of the gate. This is the new fuel pump, and it's almost identical, but I'm gonna need to salvage some of the hardware because it looks like it mounts like this on a new bike versus this, which was sitting like that. Also, my output hoses are in different directions. So my hope is that I can just take these apart and salvage what I need and just throw the old stuff away. Now, if you're anything like me, you might be thinking, what the hell is a fuel pump doing on a carbureted bike? Well, you can't gravity feed these carbs because the seat's under the tank. And this pump had so much varnish in it that I needed to disassemble and clean the whole assembly before attaching it to the new pump motor. You'll notice that ends up being kind of a running theme with this motorcycle. It was actually a lot more difficult to find this battery for the Vmax than I thought it would be. A lot of them are just these like liquid ones that you have to top off instead of the actual AGMs. So Hopefully this is a good battery. When I first checked out the bike, when the fuel pump was attached, it was blowing fuses. That means that there was something wrong with the fuel pump circuit. When I took it apart, I realized that the pump motor was just completely broken and stuck open. I did some testing later on, and there still is a short to ground somewhere in the motorcycle that I have to diagnose, but that's probably not terribly important, at least not at this point, I hope. Probably. Okay, off, fuel is on, start, high, low, okay, should be good. Nothing funky, no explosions. Ah, it did it, I think. That does not sound like the sound of a healthy fuel pump. Maybe it's just because there's no fluid in it. Hey, you know what? It helps to start a motorcycle that has gasoline in it. See, now the fuel pump's not doing the thing. Where's my fuse tester? I then, in my infinite wisdom, proceeded to spend the rest of the afternoon trying to diagnose a working fuel pump. It turns out the thing just stops when it's got enough pressure. It works. I just spent the rest of the day looking at Google, trying to figure out a problem that wasn't a problem. And let's see. Survey says, that's not right. Yeah, I don't think high octane gasoline is supposed to have the same color as Caribbean rum. I really hope this is a drain bolt. It looks kind of drain bolty. Well, that's not right. I got a single drip of sludge and nothing. I'm gonna go poking, see what I find. Oh, I poked a hole in the sludge layer. I need to get that off my hands now. In case you're curious, that vat is not full of motor oil. I promise. It's full of what was at one point gasoline. Well, the gas tank is empty, and that is a bucket full of whatever killed the dinosaurs right there, because holy cow, is that nasty. I'm literally standing outside of the garage right now because it's so full of fumes that I can't really breathe in there. So yeah, I'm gonna cool off. Alrighty, I'm gonna now pull the carburetors while I'm waiting for the tank to finish dribbling. So it's actually kind of cleared out a little bit in here. The fan's going, I'm feeling a little less high. So let's dive on in. You're about to watch me make a huge mistake. Vmax people, look away now. No matter what you do, never, ever cut away these cables. Yamaha no longer makes these cables. They're not available in the United States, and I say it later in the video, I had to special order a set from Germany. This seriously added a month of build time to this project. Now, because the gas tank had been sitting for so long with bad gas in it, all of the gas emulsified and turned into varnish on the inside of the gas tank. I had to pull the tank out so that I could actually properly clean it. The problem is, it is so difficult to do on this motorcycle. You have to disassemble the entire back end and even remove parts of the frame to get the damn thing out. I'm sure this thought has gone through the head of anybody who's had to do this before, but I would like to meet the person who designed the tail end of this motorcycle and smack them upside the head with the tail end of this motorcycle. Alrighty folks, we're back home and I've got one nasty ass gas tank. I cannot tell you how bad this thing just stinks. It is disgusting. The plan here, once I get enough space on the table, is to take some acetone right here, pour about half of it in the gas tank, shake vigorously, dump, and then pour the rest, let it sit. I'm gonna probably dump it after another few hours and then inspect. And then if needs be, I got another one. So I got 2 gallons of acetone right here. This is another mistake I made. Anybody who's worked with acetone before has already spotted it. Do not use acetone without gloves and without a respirator. This was very dumb. So now that the carb bank is out, we can actually see what's going on with the Vboost. So this right here is a servo motor that pulls this, which opens and closes this throttle assembly, I guess. And that will change the power going to the motor at low speed and high speed, or the amount of air or the amount of gas. Not entirely sure. All I know is that when you turn the bike on, it's supposed to open all the way and close all the way. So it ain't opening and it ain't closing. But you can kind of, oh, there it goes. I think it's just stuck. Because you see that? It went. I think it's just really tired and there's a lot of friction in the system. So I'm gonna pull the Vboost out and clean all this schmagegi out of here. To clarify what Past Spite said about Vboost, basically what it does is at 5750 RPM it starts opening, and at 6000 it's all the way open. What it does is it opens a passage between the forward and rear cylinder on the left and the right side, which allows more air and more gas to go in. That increases horsepower at high RPM, and it increases torque at low RPM. If your Vboost doesn't work, you either have to hunt down the parts or nail it open or nail it closed and sacrifice high-end horsepower or low-end torque based on which one you choose. Well, after a colossal amount of fiddling around, I managed to get this whole thing out, which contains the coil packs for the front cylinders as well as the Vboost. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run a bunch of cable lube through here. It's definitely a little bit tight. So I'm going to run some cable lube through there. Then I'm just going to spray the crap out of the thing on the bike with parts cleaner. You know what? I have a tool for this. Not going to work. It's not. It was a thought. So this is actually the Vboost right here, believe it or not. These guys open and close, and that makes the Vboost thing happen. So these are disgusting. There's a bunch of varnish and goober in there, so I need to just blow these dry with some parts cleaner and then rub it out with a paper towel and stuff. And I don't know, hopefully I can save a trip to an ultrasonic cleaner, but yeah, this is rough.
I can't recommend highly enough having a ton of non-chlorinated brake parts cleaner and some red Scotch-Brite around. It is one of the best combinations for removing stuck-on gunk without actually doing any damage to the parts. I've done this trick on the heads of my E350, I've done it in the Vmax, and I've done it in a whole bunch of other projects. It's time-consuming and it requires a lot of patience, but when done right, you get a perfect seal between two aluminum surfaces, and it's really, really nice to not have any leaks, especially when you're dealing with vacuum leaks, which can affect your idle.
Oh, this has been a long time coming, but we're finally gonna begin reassembly on the Vmax. So we have everything that we need to put together the Vboost and make sure that this damn thing works. So I'm gonna reassemble it here on the table. I'm gonna clean up the bike a little bit, and we're gonna turn some screws in the right direction. So I need to clean every single one of these gasketing surfaces and make sure they're totally dry. O-rings go on dry, at least that's my understanding.
Don't worry too much about any of the parts cleaner getting down into the manifold there. It's gonna evaporate before you start the bike because you're putting it all together. Obviously you don't want giant particles getting in there, but if a little bit of dirt and grime gets past that, it's not the biggest thing in the world. The engine's just gonna burn it up and shoot it right out the exhaust anyway.
Oh man, I have no idea how long it's been since I last filmed. That's just how long this project is going on. It is now the middle of March, like March 15th. And I finally have some good news about the Vmax today. So we have the throttle cables right here. We actually got those sent in from Germany because these throttle cables right here, they don't make these anymore, and you can't find new ones. You'll also notice there are no carburetors in this motorcycle yet. So what we're gonna go do today is we're gonna head out to Limey Bikes here in Austin. He's got the carburetors rebuilt, and I just wanna play for you this track right here. Just listen to this.
Hey there, it's Chris from Limey Bikes. So after 40 years of doing carburetors, yours were officially the freaking worst. Yeah, everything was freaking stuck like you wouldn't believe. I had to actually drill a few screws out because they're all seized in there. Yeah, they were an absolute clusterfuck. They're good now, but holy, yeah, they were bad.
Yeah, that's exactly what any carbureted motorcycle owner wants to hear about their carburetors, that they are the worst carbs a guy's seen in 40 years of working on carburetors. But because all of that stuff that was in the carburetors was also sitting in the gas tank, I'm bringing the gas tank along with me today just so that they can clean and blast it out. The acetone worked pretty darn well, but it's still chunky, and I'm not putting fresh gas in this right into my carburetors just to ruin them after they've been cleaned. So let's hit the road. Just in case you guys were curious if that was overblown, check this out. Right there on the receipt. My God, these were all completely seized and everything was stuck. Strip, ultrasonic, clean, and rebuild any replacement parts necessary. That was on the right. Take a look at how they turned out. This is why I wanted to go straight to having somebody who knows what they're doing look at these carburetors, because they are beautiful now. Didn't realize that there was actually something that nice underneath all of that junk. So we're gonna go put these in the bike, but before we do, you gotta check this thing out. 1953 Ariel Square 4. You will probably never see one of these in the flesh. This is one of the coolest bikes I've ever seen, and they're working on it, getting it running again. Apparently everything works. I think they were saying but the starter, but just look at the way this motor is set up. Let's get home, put these carburetors in the bike, and wire up the throttle, and maybe find a fuel bottle. See if we can get this damn bike to work. All right, let's test fit these bastards.
I was warned ahead of time by Chris at Limey Bikes that because of the amount of work he had to do and take the carburetors down to bits, that they were going to be wildly out of sync. However, they were going to be well enough set to start the motorcycle. I'd also recommend that if you're going to spend the money to get the carburetors done, you might as well just buy new rubber seals for everything. You don't want to spend a bunch of cash on getting your carburetors done, use old rubber, and develop vacuum leaks and sap power. You're just going to have to tear the thing down. So spend the money up front and just get new boots and seals. Trust me, it's worth it.
Finally, it feels like we're actually making real progress here. I finally have the carburetors back in, and the throttle actually fucking works. Check this out. It opens all the way on both sides. At least as far as I can tell, it's opening all the way on both sides. This is the closest I've felt to actually accomplishing something on this motorcycle in the better part of 3 months. So I'm gonna finish putting all the hoses and stuff back in place here, and then I'm gonna call it a day for today. We don't need the gas tank to start the motorcycle. So I have everything in place, everything that I need in place. They don't tune these things with the airbox on, or rather they don't sync them with the airbox on. So I was told, even though they're wildly out of sync, that I will be able to start the bike. It might idle a little bit funny, but it should idle. Fingers crossed. Tomorrow, man, I'm so excited. That hooked up, that's hooked up, that's hooked up. I think we're good to go. Right? Okay, let's see if it'll be happy. Well, guys, this has been a freaking journey. I have not worked on a motorcycle this long, ever. So, a lot of stuff happened, and this seriously took me 3 months. But the bike starts. That's what's important. This video is probably a long video, so I'm gonna cut this outro pretty short. Next steps are actually to change the oil in this thing. We're gonna go get it tuned. We're gonna get the carbs synced. The carbs actually have the stock jetting in there because the slash cut Cobras here, they actually run pretty well on stock jetting, apparently. I mean, I actually lose power on stock jetting, is what I hear. So I may end up switching those out sooner or later, but the next video actually is not going to be working on the bike. We are going to be talking about how expensive this project was, because this ballooned so much faster and there's still so much to get done on it. So stay tuned for more on the Vmax, because this journey, even though we're many miles down the road, it's only just begun. So catch you guys in the next one. See you later.